Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys my recap on the new episode of Shokugeki no Souma Go Sara, or you could call it Food Wars the 5th plate on episode 3. Now, this episode right here, damn dude. It's been a very long time since the last episode aired. Like, if I remember correctly, it was like back in April. That much I can say. So from 1, 2, 3, 4 months since the second episode was aired, and it has been a very dang long time. And the last time I remember doing a recap on it was the 17th of April. So yeah, 4 months exactly on the time spot entirely. And I'm like, jeez man, I never thought this be happening. But aside from that, this episode right here, etc., it had some changes compared to when I read the manga, etc., but I could get to that just until I finish my recap, you know? So if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it that Yukihira Soma realizes there's something with the Suzuki sensei or something with him, you know? There's something about him that seems to be a little concerning, etc., you know? So Soma therefore asks, if I beat you, would you tell me your secrets? And he says, yeah, I have no problem. But if I beat you, I'm taking your knife. Get that? You get that? And Soma decides to agree right away, even though he was suspicious of it, you know? Eventually, we get to see Soma's dish come out first, and it's a deep-fried pork cutlets fondue lunch set, you know? Just any simple Japanese mental thing when you eat pork cutlets. Heck, I know that for sure, etc. And we have to it that Yukihira used something called a fondue cheese or something, which is something that Megumi realizes that this is something that Takumi used in the blue preliminaries. But we have to it that someone's like, yeah, the sauce also has cheese in there, so go ahead, dip the sucker in there. And it's not even cheese at all, it looks black, you know? And we have to it that Megumi says that the texture is very light, the batter melts in my mouth as soon as I take a bite into it, and the flavor of the black sauce wrapped around the cutlet is irresistible. And Soma says, you know, it may look like a normal tonkatsu sauce, but that black paste is actually black cheese sauce. I grilled chunks of eggplant over a brazier and charred them up, then turned it into a puree so they still have their aroma from the charcoal. Then I mixed that with some cheese to make this special sauce, you know. I'm so glad I had this brazier grill, you know. And that's when Megumi realizes that the faint flavors of the cheese and the charcoal remain in your mouth, you know, giving it a refreshing aftertaste. And someone's like, yeah, I also blended in black garlic puree as a secret ingredient. Every bite you take, you make you want to eat more, you know. And the pork cutlet is notorious for its greasy savoriness, but how someone was able to do that, you know? And we had to it that Suzuki sensei comes in and says it's how he deep fried the meat. Yukihira put the cutlet into the fryer when the frying oil was still cold, you know? Sudden drastic changes in the temperature will inevitably make the meat rough. So he put the cutlet in cold oil and let the temperature gradually rise to prevent that. And then to finish off, he quickly raised the temperature so the high temperature will instantly crisp the batter, you know? That results in a light pork cutlet that will let you forget about the greasiness, but still experience the delicate flavors and aftertaste. And Yukihira's like, yeah, I used this technique back from home, you know? And I used it, I learned at the Yukihira diner, incorporated everything I have learned at Totsuki into this dish. And that's what I put into this lunch set, you know? And Megumi says that the flavor of this black cheese sauce is enveloping every part of my body, you know, that kind of thing. And we get to see Suzuki Sensei's dish now. It's like the same thing but different, but this time it's covered in white sauce. And we have to it that that it's the same thing, but you know, there was a funny comedy moment where someone's like, hey, you stole my line, dig in. Go find your own damn line or something, you know? And we have to it that Soma believes that Suzuki Sensei is doing tracing abilities, you know? And Suzuki Sensei says, oh, is that what it's called? Well, I'm on a whole completely different level. That much I can tell you. I'm going to tell you right now, my knife decided upon the same dish you did. That's all this is. And of course, my dish is at least 2 levels above yours at most. If you don't believe me, go give it a taste. And the moment Megumi and Soma took a taste out of the thing, The texture and flavor is so light, and they both realize the sauce starts to spread in your mouth, etc. It's the pressure of the rich deliciousness attacks, you know? And we have too that Yukihira realizes that this is that chantilly sauce that he heard about from his master Shinomiya. And he says, yeah, you finally realized it? I also prepared some light, airy whipped cream, then added finely minced shallots, tarragon, and some capers, you know? Plus a tiny bit of Tabasco sauce to make it look good, to make it taste good. And Suzuki-sensei therefore tells Yukihira, like, look, I applaud you for actually being able to get your pork cutlet as light as it could be, but the thought of having to make fried foods lighter was stupid, you know? My sauce surpasses all that. While I did give the pork cutlet a light texture, I made sure you enjoyed the richness of the sauce. It's light but yet heavy, it's rich yet fluffy. And Yukihira realizes that he'd never be able to make a dish like this if it wasn't stacked with XP. And later on, after Suzuki-sensei was about to take Soma's knife because he actually won, and there's no doubt about that, he realizes that he doesn't need it, and he puts it down and realizes the knife he has is way better than what Soma has. And Soma realizes that the knife that Suzuki-sensei has is actually his father's and says, how the hell did you get your hands on that knife? And he says, oh, you just realized it? I kicked Chorichiro's butt and took it, you know, in a cooking contest. And we have to it that he reveals his real name, that his name is Saiba Asahi, or Asahi Saiba, whichever one that seems fitting for you, okay? And we all know that Saiba was actually a name that was actually used by Chorichiro himself. Let's not forget that. Although Yukihira wanted to go one more competition against him one more time, he fainted and then dropped dead. Well, not literally dead, but yeah. And you know, Asahi, which I could finally say his freaking real name or something. Well, Asahi Saiba or something. Well, I think his name was always revealed, but, you know, I guess I'm more comfortable to say it now in a certain way because now it's finally confirmed to be revealed. But we have too that Mugumi asked Takumi Aldini about, like, Saiba Asahi because he seems to be affiliated with Chorichiro himself, you know? And we have to it that eventually we get some more information involving about Saiba, you know? I mean, Saiba Asahi. Eventually, we get to see to it that information will later on be passed on to Yukihira by his father. And eventually, information about, like, some other stuff involving, like, something involving Saiba Asahi will be passed on to Erina by Gin Dojima himself, you know? As the episode continues on, we get to know that, like, Saiba Asahi was actually took in by Chorichiro Yukihira himself, you know? Eventually, when Saiba looked at Chorichiro's cooking, he tasted it, he wanted to follow him around, and, you know, Chorichiro's like, you know what, just come along, you know, I'll teach you the ropes. Eventually, he does teach him some things here and there, and eventually he wanted to take on the name, Saiba, and Chorichiro's like, you know what, go ahead, you're a good student, you know, that kind of thing. And it looks like to me he was, like, learning very well, but at the same time, though, when the day came for him to leave, he had to go back to his original home, and that's the Yukihira diner. Let's not forget about that, you know, etc. Eventually, as time continues on with the backstory that Yukihira was given by his father, you know, there'll be other stuff involving something called the Noir. Now, the Noir are known to be the chefs at night. They're a group of chefs that only go up to places no reputable chef would go, you know, like secret diners for VIPs or parties thrown by underworld figures and make a fortune. They were also known to be social outcasts and deprived chefs who don't mind breaking the law. And the funny thing is that the Noir, the chefs at night, which are lawbreakers if anything, are invited to the Blue, and at the same time, they are led by a guy named Saiba Asahi, which is the guy that Yukihira lost to completely. But and you know there would be a scene where, like, that Saiba Asahi goes to Erina's room and wants to make her his bride, and says, like, and eventually after Erina's like, you know what, I'll kick your butt and then make you say otherwise, you got it? And we have to it that Saiba shows off one of his dishes to Erina and realizes that he's not some simple opponent, and Asahi says, you know, Megumi and Soma, those guys are nothing, you know, I can't believe I really wasted my time playing with them like that. And at the same time, he says, I will beat you at the blue, and that's where we'll make our vows, you know, that kind of thing. And Erina's like, yeah, I wish you the best, you know, we'll sell this at the blue. And we have to it that Yukihira was told about the noir by his father, you know, Yukihira Joichiro, etc., and knows that Saiba Asahi's gonna go there along with the noir, you know, the chefs at night. And then, you know, Erina's gonna be there, and Yukihira's like, this is perfect, you know, I'm gonna get my rematch with Saiba Asahi, beat Erina, and reach to the top no matter what, you know, that kind of thing. Eventually, you know, there was some scenes where Yukihira would want to challenge his father to a cooking contest after he got home, you know, blah, 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 and after telling him everything. And we get to know that Yukihira's mother is called Tamako, and we get to see her face, man. It was really cute. But at the same time, though, it looks like to me she's not around, which is already confirmed in an implicit way that she's dead. I mean, she doesn't see... Although it's kind of obvious from the get-go, the way how it was mentioned in this episode, or how it was shown implicitly, yeah. Sorry for a little minor spoiler or something, but that much I can tell you. But we also see to it that when Yukihira Soma says he's going to go to the blue and rise to the top kind of thing, we have to it that Jurichiro decides to give Yukihira some encouraging words. I'll tell you the secret of becoming a great chef. It's to meet someone that you want to dedicate all your cooking to, you know? That kind of thing. And yeah, this is where this is where things kind of gotten a little strange here and there, etc. And you know, we have to that the episode ends up with Asahi and his group getting ready to go to the blue once and for all, you know, that kind of thing. Preview next episode, it looks like to me the blue is gonna start right there, etc. And Megumi's like, yeah, you know what, the blue is very, very scary kind of thing. And it's called The Last Supper, you know, that kind of stuff. Now, I will tell you a couple of changes what they did in the manga. You know, when Yukihira Soma lost against Asahi Saiba, he was actually thrown in the trash can. He didn't fall to the floor like he fall dead or something, but he was in the trash can, and Gin Dojima was supposed to be there, realizing that Yukihira's in the trash can. Goes like, hey man, why are you in the trash? You know, that kind of thing, etc. And some other changes involving about like Asahi saying the same words that Joichiro told Yukihira. You have to dedicate your cooking to someone that dedicate your cooking to to somebody, you know. Instead, it is said by Joichiro Yukihira. He was called Saiba Joichiro, but he's called Yukihira now. Can't believe I almost mixed up those names pretty badly, but yeah, there were a couple changes, like I said, like when Yukihira lost, he was in the trash can, okay? And then when it came to like the saying of like dedicate your cooking to someone you value the most, that was said by Asahi Saiba himself and not Joichiro, you know? Now, Joichiro did say it in the manga, but it was like long I think it must have been a little bit long before that. But aside from that, yeah, there were a couple changes, but not too much to a point it made it look bad. But this is where a lot of people kind of made a lot of complaints, and I'm not playing, man. I've been reading the manga for a while. I read the manga for a long time, ever since I don't know when, but all I know is like it was during like when the chefs when Yukihira and the rebels were up against the Elite 10 to determine the fate of the school and Totsuki itself, you know, that kind of thing. That much I can tell you. So I can understand major complaints of why people didn't really like this arc at all, and I can understand that very well. Even I knew there were some issues with this arc, despite yeah. So we'll get to that when I get to my final recap and final impressions and my final overall thoughts when it comes to this series alone, you know. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. So I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out. Bye bye. Toot toot.